All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard here to the Sports Talk Nation. Michael Cohen here with you on this next edition of the Open Mic Podcast. And today we are going to jump back into the baseball, and we got a lot of baseball to talk about, specifically here in New York, as the New York Yankees find themselves in a dogfight right now, and I think that's the nicest way to put it with the way things are going right now for New York. In a dogfight for the American League wild card, the Oakland A's are right there behind them. And both those two teams played each other yesterday on Labor Day afternoon. The A's won that game 6-3, and this has been bothering me for a while with the Yankees because I have always had this feeling for the better part of the month, and the A's have been playing great baseball for a long time. I'll throw a quick stat at you folks first before we welcome in our guest. Oakland was 34-36, 2 games under 500 on June 15th, and since that time they have the best record in baseball. Not the Red Sox. Sorry, Boston fans. Oakland has the best record in baseball, 49-20, a .710 winning percentage. If the Yankees and the A's do face each other, I know Seattle's still in the mix too, but if the Yankees and the A's face each other in the wild card playoff game, and with the way things are going, do not be shocked. I'm not saying it will happen, but do not be shocked. That's the A's going to Boston for the ALDS, and not the Yankees. That being said, let's bring in our special guest, and of course joining me to talk about the Yankees is the one and only Karen VanKat. Karen, how you doing?
Okay, Michael, how are you today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Doing great. And, you know, it's kind of sad that summer's coming to an end, but at the same time, it's now serious September and October baseball coming up at the same time.
Absolutely. And this is usually, besides spring training, where you're getting all excited and everybody's in it and, you know, all the teams and stuff, this is probably the best time of the year going into the playoffs, the September push, basically.
Oh, it really is. And, you know, I take a look at, you know, all-around baseball and, you know, it's easy to look at the American League and say it's pretty much decided. We know which 5 teams are going to be in the playoffs pretty much, but, you know, it's about, can the Yankees get themselves righted? Are they going to get caught by the A's for the wild card playoff? Do the Astros fall into the wild card? You know, do the Red Sox get to 110 wins with the way they've been playing so far this year? And a lot of questions. I mean, going into this thing, this final push of the season. And, man, you know, the Yankees, Karen, it's been a struggle to watch for a while now. They've been playing bad ever since that sweep, a 4-game sweep at the hands of the Red Sox at the beginning of last month. Everything has really spiraled out of control. You talk about guys who have been either injured, like Aaron Judge, Didi Gregorius was injured for a couple of weeks. The pitching hasn't been good. They just look like in a malaise. You know, we're talking about this off the air just a little while ago. The team just looks like they're in a malaise. They are just not playing good, sound, fundamental baseball at all here in the last month and a half.
No, and all phases of the game have been terrible. The pitching's been terrible. The hitting's been erratic. You had Stanton on a tear for a while. Glaber had a good week. They actually named him Player of the Week this week. But it's been very hit and miss and piecemealing this lineup every day. You're not penciling in the same 9 guys every day. You're he's juggling Boone and he's trying to find, you know, Bird has not done well. But, you know, I mean, there have been some bright spots. I mean, it has been a total disaster. Luke Voigt, have they found a new first baseman maybe of the future? We don't know. You know, things like that. They went out, they got some help because they have no outfielders, so they went and got McCutchen. They got Echeverria, you know, to help boost in the infield right now. And now, because, you know, the rosters are expanded because of, you know, in September you could do that.
Right.
So you could carry all these people. Now come, of course, in the playoff time, then you got to, you know, make your cuts. But Tarpley, the pitcher is back up. Loaiza is back. So there are some young and some bright spots going on here, but there's too many. What's really been glaring has been the errors. And I'm talking not just physical, but the mental errors going on here. You know, it feels like every game it's 2 and 3. Like, that's not Yankee baseball. You got to be sound fundamentally. And I know people hate to practice and you hate to, but you want it so it's just second nature and it's like muscle memory and you don't have to think about it. And these guys are just totally off with everything, whether it's even going after some balls. Stanton blew a couple he should have had. They didn't give him an error, but he like misplayed. Like, you can't be doing this. You can't be misplaying balls. You can't be overthrowing. You can't be throwing away the ball. And then, like I said, the mental errors on the base paths, a couple of them. I'm not picking up the ball, or it's just like, I don't know if they're all fatigued. It feels like they're very fatigued, what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And that they're, you've got to find it. Even though you are, this is your push, and you've got to get over that, and you've got to grind.
Yeah.
And you're going to be grinding the rest of September.
Well, right now they're getting grinded into the ground by the schedule. I mean, losing 2 out of 3 to the White Sox, splitting a series with Detroit, losing yesterday to Oakland. I mean, this has just been bad. I mean, I was watching most of the game yesterday, and I'm seeing guys pressing. I mean, they struck out 11 times yesterday as a team. And Hicks struck out twice. He's had a couple of horrible swings. I know Andujar's been hitting well, but he had a couple of bad, uncomfortable swings yesterday. Sanchez is just, I don't know where he is, where his mind has been all season.
He's lazy.
He's terrible.
15 pounds. All right, he looked good. He lost the weight. But did you see that pass ball?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right off the glove. He should have caught that. He didn't even have to move his ball. Barely. I don't even know how it became a pass ball. And then he kind of lollygagged like he always does.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was rounding third base.
I know.
I mean, he still had to pick up the ball.
I know.
I can't handle that. I can't handle that. No. Sorry.
There's just too many guys pressing, and I think a lot of this. I don't know how you feel about this, but the injury to Aaron Judge, and I know you said to me earlier that he's been hitting off a tee. A lot of this concern with the injury to the wrist. We really don't know what his timetable is going to be to come back to this team, but it just feels like to me that ever since that injury, this team has been pressing to find that mojo again, right? Because he's kind of the linchpin of this entire lineup. He kind of he's the linchpin to the entire team. And at one point this year, Aaron Boone told him, "Hey, look, when you go on the disabled list, don't disappear. Please stay in the dugout. Please, keep rooting guys on because they need you there." And if all the things that Aaron Boone has done wrong this year, that's the one thing he has actually done right. But to me, without him in the lineup, everyone's pressing. We're seeing even Giancarlo Stanton press. I mean, there's a stat here. I could pull it up. I think
the Judge in the lineup, he would get a lot of walks, even if he struck out here and there. But he was hitting well. He was doing well up to his injury.
Yeah.
And how about in the outfield? How much they miss him in the outfield?
Mm-hmm.
He throws batters out, runners out, or he prevents them from trying. They're running on everybody out there. But even Stanton, they didn't run on Judge.
No. He is so underrated as an outfielder because people see a big, tall guy like him, like 6'7", his size, and I think he's not going to be a very good outfielder. No, he is very good.
Right.
He's very good. Mm-hmm. I mean, Stanton's hitting 133 in his last 7 games now. Right. And everyone's
he was hitting over 300, but now he's tanking again. And
everyone was killing him earlier in the year, right? Everyone's been killing him all year, but he's the only guy he's like the only guy in the lineup outside of Andujar. He's the only guy in the lineup right now because I just don't know how you can trust. And then you got the problems with Greg Bird. I mean, I don't know. He's another one. We talked about Sanchez just a moment ago. What is going on here with Greg Bird? I mean, just mentally.
I don't know. I think it's a mental thing now.
Yeah.
And this Voit, for what he is, he's doing the job right now, and he's been hitting some home runs, and he's actually batting over 300.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's you got to leave him in there.
Going to have to. I mean, he is hitting 333 now in 15 games. He was hitting 333 in 15 games in August. What did he do the last couple of days? He's hitting 300 here in September, so he's still hitting over 300. Guy has 17 RBI since he got called up. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. You can't take that out of the lineup. And with the team that's not hitting, you need someone that's going to be hitting consistently on a regular basis. He's the only guy right now.
Right.
He really is. It's frustrating.
Gardner's disappeared.
Oh man, he had a bad at bat.
Even in the field, though, he's been crappy in the field. I don't know what the hell, But he does this. Gardner, for how good he is as a Yankee and been all these years, he always fades at the end of the season. Now, again, is he tired? Is he whatever the story is? This is every year this has happened to him. Now, I don't know if he picks it up more in the playoffs, but he does this, and he botched a ball in the outfield that went to the wall the other day. Like, I don't know what he was doing, what he was thinking.
I don't know. And he had a bad at bat yesterday. He had 2 guys on. I think it was still a 2-run game. Had a couple of guys on. 7th inning, had a chance, ended up having a lazy fly ball. Didn't have a very long at bat. I mean, that's his trademark: is to have long, extended at bats and to find a way to get on base. and he has not been having any of that right now. I mean, that's just the kind of state they're in right now, a complete funk, and the pitching isn't helping either. CeCe got lit up. Lance Lynn, I got to ask about these two new guys. Lance Lynn's gotten lit up in I think 3 of his last 4 starts. He's gotten lit up. He got lit up the other day against Detroit.
Right.
Yankees lost 11-7. And then you have J.A. Happ, who's looked good, but he didn't pitch all that great his last time out against Detroit. I mean,
before that, he did win 6 in a row, Happ.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a bad game. So let's chalk that up to his bad game. He did win 6 in a row. We'll see tonight. He's pitching tonight, so we'll see if he could pick it up again. I think Happ's a good pitcher. I think he's a good veteran, and he's a lefty. Lynn just fell into it, I think. They needed another pitcher. He had a couple of good outings. Whether he really belongs in the bullpen, but right now, their hands are tied. Loiza's finally back. He looks good when he pitched in there. He's really a starter. Tarpley, they have him in the bullpen, but he's originally a starter. So, I mean, right now you go with the flow. CeCe looked absolutely horrendous. After the first inning, I would have taken him out. He had nothing yesterday. Absolutely nothing. They kept running him out. I know he was trying to, get as much as he can, but you need to win these games. This isn't May. This isn't April. This isn't even June. This is September. You need these games. So when he cracked out there in the first inning, and they got 3 runs right away, you could tell he had nothing. You could tell. It was bases loaded, no outs. I mean, it was like ridiculous. They should have got somebody else in. I know. You're blowing your bullpen. You've expanded the rosters, and you do that for a reason.
Well, I think part of the reason thinking here is for Boone, and I'm glad you brought this up because this goes into his managing strategies. He's in a situation where I guess he feels he needs to put the best guys out there, no matter what, because he's under pressure. He's going to catch. I'm sure he's getting pressure from upstairs to see if they can still catch the Red Sox, which is next to impossible. What are they, 8.5 out? 8.5 out.
Yeah,
they're still trying to hold on to this wild card.
They had their chance when they was within 5.5 at one point.
Yeah,
and you thought they're going to maybe make the push, and they crapped out against bad teams.
I know. Losing to teams like they lost to the Mets, they lost a couple of games to Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay's been pretty good. They've just, like we mentioned before, losing to the White Sox, losing to the Tigers.
That's all inexcusable.
I mean, it's inexcusable, right? I mean, these are bad. This was a chunk of their schedule when we looked at that August schedule that they should have just rolled right through. And I know for the most part they kind of did. They swept Toronto and they swept Baltimore, but they had struggles with everybody else. You can't have that happen at all.
No.
And you certainly can't lose a series to the Mets for that matter. Can't lose 2 out of 3 to them.
I mean, and they have had injuries, but that's not an excuse. You can't use that as an excuse. But I'll tell you, Judge, out of everybody, and now they found out he's like almost indispensable. He really is. He's as close to indispensable as you could get because he still gets on base. He makes the batters around him better. We've missed him in the outfield. I don't know how many crappy plays in right field. You had Neil Walker out there for a while. He's not an outfielder. He doesn't have an arm for that. I know they had to out of necessity, trying to piecemeal a team, but that's how much Judge is needed. And I think, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, whether they should just gone and got that bone chip out. I mean, I don't understand where the pain's from. The chip's off the bone. Okay, it's done. Is the chip causing the pain? Is that why? Because it's floating in there? I don't know, though. Like I said, I'm not a physician. That would be for a surgeon. If you went in and you did the surgery, was he going to be done for the year? Is that why they tried this? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, even with my medical background. I mean, everybody's different as far as that kind of stuff. But I swear I've heard guys with right elbow chips, but they're back in the same year. I don't know. Maybe the risk is, I have no idea.
Yeah. Now
they miss him.
Now, if you're the manager right now, right, and you're looking at this one-game playoff, let's just say that, however the season ends, it ends. To me, and I'm basing this off of what has gone up to this point, things are going to change in the next 3.5 weeks. But right now, the best pitcher that you have is Masahiro Tanaka. Let me just pull up his numbers right here. Tanaka, over his last month or so, has been pitching lights out. He held Detroit to a run. He's basically been going 6 to 7 innings almost every start. He even had a complete game against Tampa Bay on the 24th of July. He's been pitching great. Severino, not so much. Severino, I mean,
Right.
everyone's been trying to wonder what's going on with this guy after the All-Star break. He's just disappeared. I mean, he was 13-2.
Too.
He was 13-2. He's now lost 4 games since the All-Star break.
Do you have the stats in front of you? How many innings has he thrown, Sevy?
For the season? Yeah, he has thrown 171, which I believe it's a career high, right? Let me pull it up again.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's getting close.
What about Masahiro?
Let's see here. Tanaka, okay, sorry. 134 innings pitched this year. I mean, he's on pace to pitch 157. Okay. He's certainly going to be near a career low. And remember, he was injured. He was on the disabled list for a couple weeks too.
Yes, he was. That's why he's got less innings.
So
I agree with you, but also come a one playoff game, everybody's available.
Mm-hmm.
So if Masahiro blows up in the first inning right away and it doesn't look good, then you get Sevy up, or you know what I mean? Like all hands on deck when you're in a 1-game elimination game.
Mm.
So right now, if it continues the way it is, I would go with Tanaka, definitely. Hackwood actually would have been my second choice.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame him. He's been great.
Sevy.
He's been really good. He's 5-0. Except for that last start against Detroit, he's been solid.
Right. So if he's solid again tonight, and plus he's pitched in the playoffs, and he's a lefty. You could go with either one. When you get to that end, see where exactly they are. One thing I hate about Masahiro is that he'll give up that home run. I think the last game there was a couple games in a row he didn't give up any, which was a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
And when he does give it up, it's usually one run. It's a single home run and nobody on base. But you could go with Hack or Severino.
Now, bullpen has been an issue. Now, it wasn't an issue earlier in the year, but it's an issue now. One guy that really is bugging me is Zach Britton. I mean, they bring him in here from Baltimore. They had an expectation that he would pitch well. He has not pitched well. His ERA is at 4.70 since coming to New York. He has not fit into as well as they hoped. And you take a look at his bullpen. Even Chapman has had a couple of hiccups here and there. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Well, the thing is with Britton, all his problems, he gets 2 outs and then he collapses. Notice if you look at any of what he's been doing, he gets to 2 outs and all of a sudden the bases are loaded and they're getting hits and you're like, what the hell happened? You had 2 outs. You can't close out an inning.
Apparently.
I don't get that. I think they're all somewhat fatigued. If you went and looked at all their innings too, compared to other people in the other relievers in the league, Boone used them a lot because you were only getting 5 innings out of your starters if you're lucky. I mean, I don't understand this. Back in the day, and I'm going back and I'm dating myself to the 70s, I mean, these guys went complete games, or they went 8 innings or 7 innings all the time. There was never, and their ERAs were a lot lower.
Right.
So what has happened? Where is the change as far as that happening, that these pitchers can't they get to the third time in the lineup, and they implode.
I think a lot of that has to do with the world we live in baseball. Everything's sabermetrics, right? Everything's based off of stats. We even had a guy in Philadelphia carry basically what's the equivalent of a quarterback's play sheet out to the mound and almost got tossed from the game because of it. And then Major League Baseball goes out and says, "Oh, that's fine. He can take a sheet of all the hitters and of what their strengths, weaknesses are to the mound." Are you kidding me? So we're more worried about about so-called statistical numbers and stats than we are about actually going out there and just letting it loose. Let it go. Just throw your...
I think they're thinking baseball was always more a cerebral game probably than a lot of the others because of your strategy that way. But it's become so ridiculous. Nobody uses their gut anymore.
Nobody.
And that's what Michael Kay was saying the other day. I can't stand it, and I agree with him. I don't agree with him on a lot. I agree with him on this. If a guy is hot, why are you sitting him?
I don't know.
And they tell you, oh, they're only as good. They don't believe in that. Like Boone said, they don't believe, because you got another game, you got a different pitcher. What does it matter? If you're hot, you're hot. You're playing every day in baseball. But, people feed off that. If somebody's hot or somebody's doing well. The rest of the team feels that. Now you're putting in someone who's not again, and you're putting him on the bench. I think, you screw up with the chemistry, and you screw up with a lot of things, and it's too much numbers and not enough. Remember, people are still playing the game. Robots aren't playing this game. It's people. And you got to use your gut, and when someone's on and someone's rolling, let him go.
Yeah. And, that's part of the problem that Boone is having right now, because here's a guy. You and I talked about this at the beginning of the season, and I talked about this with other Yankee fans as well. When the push came to shove, when we got to August and September, that's when you can have to judge Aaron Boone. Don't judge him what happens in April when the Yankees got off to that slow start where they were 9-9, everyone wanted them fired. I said, Don't judge on Aaron Boone yet. May comes, the Yankees are playing well. I say, okay, fine, don't judge on it. June, don't judge it. July, don't judge it. Now here we are, August, September. Now it's the nitty-gritty part of the year. Yes, the Boston Red Sox are so far in front, and they're better than everybody on the planet. Okay, whatever. But the fact is, this team has been lackadaisical. They aren't playing good, sound fundamental baseball. They're trying to hit home runs all over the place. I mean, they lead the league in sac flies, which are basically failed home runs. I mean, they're doing everything that you shouldn't be doing in order to succeed. And I look at this team a year ago. Yeah, they hit a lot of home runs, but they also hit the ball very well. They hit the ball very well in situations as well. So I have to sit there and say, does the manager make a difference in this situation? I know Joe Girardi had his warts, and I know he had his stupid thing with the book, and you always got upset with him with the book and everything else of that, with the way he managed the bullpen and what have you. But the fact is, if Joe Girardi was managing this team, would this Yankee team be in as dire straits right now? I have no idea. First of all, I have no idea what Boston would be doing right now. I don't think the Yankees would have lost 4 straight games if Joe Girardi was still the manager to the Red Sox. I certainly don't think that would have happened. It might have been a different team. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what that clubhouse is like down there under Aaron Boone compared to what it was a year ago. From what it sounds like.
And to be perfectly honest, we don't know what it was under Girardi either because we're not in the clubhouse. Only these guys know.
Yeah.
How it is with them. I think, yes, everybody, because now we got the Monday morning quarterbacks, well, you shouldn't have fired Girardi. No, it was time for Girardi to go. It was 10 years, and I think it was time for him to go. I know he was a good manager, blah, blah, blah. You want to go the whole 9 yards. But he did. And talk about in the book, Boone is never in the book. Remember Girardi? He was always in this stupid book in the back. I don't see Boone in it as much. So, and Boone is it's his first year. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to understand. And he's a different personality. And that's what they did. Just like when they went from Showalter to Joe Torre. You changed the personality. The Yankees did it again, going from Girardi to Boone. And Boone has made mistakes this year, but he's also done some decent things. Also, he's been handicapped. If he had them at full strength all the time, who knows what would happen. But
who knows?
I think... But he's got to be, like when he got thrown out, and they said, Hicks said that really got them fired up. He needs to do that in the clubhouse. Close the door.
Kick some chairs.
Kick some butt.
Kick some chairs around. I'm worried about this team.
There's a lot of concern, and there's a lot of, they got to make the push. There's nothing more to be said. To me, after yesterday's loss, I have a closed door meeting with my people, my players, and say, this is it. How many games? Tell them how many games are left, this many weeks. I know you're tired. I know we're injured. I know this, that, and the other thing. We've got people playing out of position even sometimes. If you want it, you got to go get it. And you've got to be on your game. That means mentally as well as physically. You could be physically tired, mentally. That's what I'm saying, that they're screwing up at the plate mentally and out in the field and running. So you've got to get it together. That's inexcusable. I don't care at what point you're at mentally, you should be in the game. Otherwise, then forget it. Then you're going home. You're not even going to make the playoffs, or you're going to be the one trucking out to the West Coast. You're not going to have the home field advantage for the playoffs.
Hey, there's still a chance that they could lose this top spot in the wild card. I mean, Oakland's only 3 back.
Absolutely.
I mean, they could end up having to go all the way over to California to play that game.
Yeah.
And they still
who wants to do that?
Well, maybe they do. The way they're playing right now.
I don't know. The way they're playing, you got to step it up.
So
somebody's got to be a leader and got to open his mouth. And I don't know who that is, to be perfectly honest.
Either.
I know Judge isn't playing, but is it Didi? Or I don't know who it is. It's not Sanchez. He can't even run after a ball.
Well,
Tonight, I would love to just sit his ass down and say, I'm going to tell you something. You just came back, your first game, you get a pass ball, and you don't even run after the ball. You're going to have your ass on the bench. Just threaten him. I mean, they think they could just, I don't know, go through he looks like he just goes through the motions. He's very lazy. Sorry. I don't care how good a hitter he is. And I know he's got a great arm, but behind the plate, he's a disaster. He still does not move.
Well, he's just
he'll moves. He'll have block spot pitches. Sanchez is lethargic looking.
You know, I'm beginning to wonder what they're going to do with this guy at the end of the season. There was talk in the middle of the year this year about him being traded. I mean, it was just fan talk for that matter. But I wouldn't be surprised if something does come out of that. Come out of this
because like one of the best hitters in the league, and these fans want
to trade
him. You know what? You're not doing the job. I don't give a shit. I'd rather have like a Torreyes who goes all out of his way and hustles every at bat and runs and does what he's got to do as an average player, and then have this jerk the way he acts.
Well, he's on pace to finish the season with about 19 home runs and 50 RBIs. He's hitting 184 in the year. You know,
and he was twice on the disabled list, correct?
He's been on the DL twice. I mean, think about it. I mean, he had that great run in 2016, and it's been kind of downhill since. I mean, it really has been. That playoff series against Houston was a disaster.
I think it went to his head a little bit.
It did.
And then he gained all that weight. You can't be behind the plate and be, can't move.
You can't be 230 pounds and be a catcher in this league.
Nope.
You just can't. No. You just can't do it. I mean, he's got to lose easy 25 pounds in the off season. And if I'm Gary Sanchez, if I'm thinking to myself, I got to get myself a trainer, and I got to get fit for 2019.
Exactly.
Because
you better come into camp.
Oh, you better, because they're probably not going to trade him, but they're going to get somebody else in there that's going to put some fire under his ass. That's for sure.
And you can't put him just at DH because you got Stanton.
Can't do it. So he's going to be under some heat going into next season. You can see it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a frustrating time here for the Yankees. We'll see if they can turn this around. But I look at that schedule. They play again. It's going to be Liam Hendricks going for Oakland today against J.A. Happ. Luis Severino against Matt Fiers, who's been pitching well since going to Oakland in the finale on Wednesday. And then they go to Seattle and they get James Paxton and Felix Hernandez. I know Felix Hernandez has been pitching terribly this year, but still Felix Hernandez. I mean, that's going to be a problem.
Paxton's just coming off the DL, we'll say.
Yeah, and he's been great this year. Paxton, 11 wins.
Yeah,
he's been phenomenal. And then they go to Minnesota. And, Minnesota's not a great team, but still you have to go on the road and go over there. That will not be easy. And then the end of the schedule bothers me only from the standpoint that the Yankees go to Tampa Bay. They are not winning anything in Tampa Bay this year. They haven't done anything against Tampa Bay this year. And then Boston. I mean, chances are they're still going to hold on to this top wild card spot. But, man, there are just too many opportunities here for them between now and then to lose it.
They could have made it a lot easier on themselves.
They really could have.
And that's the problem.
They really could have.
So
that's the situation the Yankees find themselves in. As we are standing here on September the 4th, getting ready for a stretch drive. Karen, again, I want to thank you again so much for coming on and talking about some Yankee baseball, as usual.
Oh, thank you. I always enjoy it, Mike.
All right, so we'll get Karen on next time. I got to say this. We just got a couple of days left until the NFL season starts. You optimistic about your Giants this year?
I'm optimistic. Everybody went crazy when they did the waiver thing.
Yeah.
But everybody's got to remember, they were second behind Cleveland for any waivers anybody cut. So they had first opportunity. And they picked up the people and they made the changes they need to make. That's why they hung on. They're like, well, why did you hang on to Webb? Because they knew they were going to do that. They knew when the waiver wire was coming, they were second for every single player who was going to be waived by another team. And that's why they did it. People went crazy over it, but I think it was actually a good strategy because you were picking number 2.
When they drafted Loletta, you knew that Davis Webb was playing his way out.
And
that's pretty
Loretta
obvious.
played good. When I saw him, and I know it's only preseason and the whole bit, but he still looked good. He looked more confident. But guess who picked up Webb?
The Patriots? I don't know. I didn't catch it.
The Jets just picked him up.
Well, quarterback controversy. No, I'm only kidding. Well, you know what? They need a backup quarterback. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
You got rid of Bridgewater, and what do you got? You got what's his name there?
Josh
McCown.
Josh. I need to retire and coach immediately, McCown.
So now you got a backup, a young backup.
Well, I want to thank the Giants for this wonderful opportunity to have Davis Webb with. Oh, goodness.
But I'm optimistic. You have to go in optimistic all the time. And it's just like spring training for baseball. And I know you got the Eagles. You got this. You know there's going to be injuries. What team's going to get hit the toughest with the injuries? And they have improved. They definitely improved that offensive line.
Oh, yes.
They've got a running back. You signed Odell. Now he's got to produce more than he's ever done in his life. He got his money.
He's got to keep his mouth shut, too.
The offense actually is pretty good. The defense, are we talking about that? We'll see. We'll see what happens. But so far, I'm just happy with the offensive line situation.
I think the Giants are going to be pretty good. I think they're going to surprise some people. I'm not going to sit here and say, they're going to the playoffs. I'm not going to go there. But I think they're going to be pretty good this year.
Well, I think they'll do 9 and 7. I would like to see at least 9 and 7.
That's not unfathomable. I could see that.
No, because who knows what everybody else is doing? You know, the Redskins are always going to be right now. They're still probably the doormat.
I think the Cowboys. I think
Dallas,
the Cowboys could be.
Dallas is just that's always you know.
I think the Cowboys could be the doormat.
Card.
I'll be honest with you.
The Eagles will still be up there, but they got to stay healthy. Everybody's got to stay healthy, and that's always the bottom line of football.
Don't be shocked the Cowboys are the doormat this year. I'm just saying.
That's a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, I really think
I hope so, because I hate them.
Everyone hates the Cowboys. Everyone. Karen, it was a pleasure.
Thanks, Michael. We'll do it again. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, a couple things here, folks, before we go. And again, I want to thank Cohen and VanKat for joining us here today. I mean, the Oakland A's are playing good baseball. And I know we didn't get a chance to talk too much about them, but I really want to discuss them because they are, like I mentioned at the top of the show, they are 49-20 since June 15th. 710 winning percentage. That is the best winning percentage in baseball and better than anybody else. Boston would be second at 47-21. That's a 691 percentage. The Oakland A's have done this with a lot of guys that probably a lot of mainstream fans may not have heard of. I mean, they are a team that is well managed. They're a team that is well coached. They do a nice job as far as distributing the innings are concerned. We talked about some of the concerns with the Yankee bullpen and the way that Aaron Boone manages the bullpen. You kind of like the way that Bob Melvin's managed that bullpen. I mean, everyone's pretty much getting an opportunity every single night. You got guys like Blake Trehan, their closer, 36 saves. He's pitched in 59 games so far this year. He has been unbelievable, 0.91 ERA. Familia, who they picked up from the Mets, he had a couple of shaky outings there in August, but again, 20 games so far over there in Oakland. He's 4-1. He has 5 holds. He has an ERA of 2.45. Trevino, an ERA of 2.15. Okay. Yasmiro Petit once was a starter with the Diamondbacks not that long ago. He has an ERA of 3.29. And the Oakland A's, folks, that since the All-Star break, and their bullpen's been pitching well. They're starting rotation, which is a bunch of guys that are really no names. I know Sean Manaea has been unbelievable this year. It was really unbelievable the start of the year. He's kind of fallen off since, but has been their ace. Trevor Cahill's been a guy that's been around for a while. Brett Anderson and Edwin Jackson have been around for a very long time and getting opportunity here with the A's. Mike Fiers, who they picked up, has pitched well. But since the All-Star break, the Oakland A's have the best pitching ERA in baseball, a 3.24 ERA. That is tied with the Dodgers. Dodgers can't get out of their own way right now. But the Oakland A's, with a 3.24 ERA in the 42 games post All-Star break, are 28-14, holding opponents to a 229 batting average. That's up there in Major League Baseball. And their offense, and we don't usually associate offense with the Oakland A's. They are hitting as a team 261 as a team that is good for 6th in Major League Baseball right now, and 218 runs scored. And I was wondering, well, what are the Yankees doing? What are the Yankees doing? Yankees are hitting only 248, and they've only scored 220 runs. So they have only scored two runs more than Oakland has in the 42 games since the All-Star break. And a lot of people talk about the Yankees hitting home runs. Well, the A's have been hitting home runs. And you got guys like Matt Chapman. He has 9 home runs in the month of August. We all know about Chris Davis, what he's been able to do, 10 home runs in the month of August. Those two guys have been leading the way as far as the offense is concerned with the Oakland A's, but they are a team that is going to be scary going into the playoffs. Matt Chapman overall, 22 home runs. Jed Larry, 21 home runs. Steven Piscotty has 21 home runs this year. Marcus Seidman has 11 home runs. Chris Davis overall, 40 home runs this year. Matt Olson, 24 home runs. This is a team that plays This is a team that plays when it's usually a pitcher's park in the Coliseum, and they have 191 home runs this year. Let me just quickly check. I believe that's got to be right up there in as far as the home run totals in baseball. That is third in baseball right now. Only the Dodgers and the Yankees have hit more home runs than the Oakland A's this year. Yankees 225. The Dodgers at 192, and then the A's at 191. Boston Red Sox. Boston, the best team in Major League Baseball, only 181 home runs this year. That is 10 less than Oakland. So for all those people sitting there saying, well, who are these Oakland A's? If you haven't had a chance, this is a team to go out there and watch. I know everyone wants to talk about the Red Sox, talks about the Astros. The Astros, of course, the defending champions of the American League. If the Oakland A's, and it looks like they're going to get to the playoffs, if the Oakland A's were to ever get past the Yankees in a wild card game, it will be a nightmare for whoever is waiting for them. That would be Boston. And if I'm the Boston Red Sox, the last team of the 2 teams coming out of that wild card that I want to see is Oakland. Forget head-to-head matchups. Just talk about the way they're playing right now. If you're Boston, who would you rather face? A Yankee team that's beaten up, injured, has guys that are tired, not playing well, they're lethargic looking when they're on the field, or an Oakland team that's been playing well in all cylinders. I'd rather play the Yankees. And think about this. If you're the Red Sox, right? You're thinking to yourself, man, we're going to get this first round, or we're going to get the wild card team. It might be the Yankees more because they're going to be at home for this game against Oakland. We want to stick it to the Yankees. We want to prove a point. They're going to be amped up for the idea of just even getting the Yankees in a wild card playoff game. And then if the Yankees find a way to lose that game, and it's Oakland instead, it'll be a little bit of a disappointment. Maybe some arrogance on the part of some Red Sox fans thinking, oh, it's the Oakland A's, and we're going to take care of these guys. Be careful. Just be careful with a team like this, because they are, again, playing as well, if not better than anybody else in Major League Baseball right now. Again, I want to thank Karen VanKat for joining us here today. And remember, folks, remember to like and subscribe right here on the YouTube page here for Sports Talk Nation. And also follow us on the social media at OpenMicNJ on Twitter and Facebook.com/OpenMicProgram. Tomorrow, folks, we'll talk about some football. We'll do a football preview. We've got a couple of great guests coming on as well. So keep tuned here to the Sports Talk Nation. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.